All right, I've got 11 o'clock and I'd like to call the Skagit Transit Board of Directors meeting to order. Laura, I assume you're on line. You're going to help out with that? Or we're not ready to throw that to Larissa just yet?
I am online. We are going to have Larissa help out with that today.
Okay, let's get a roll call, please. Or what?
Commissioner Browning, Commissioner Janicki,
Here.
Commissioner Wiesen,
Here.
Mayor Donovan,
Here.
Mayor Johnson, Mayor Miller,
Here.
Mayor Aslett,
Here.
Councilperson Stavik,
Here.
Councilperson Vanderstoop,
Present.
Judy Jones, Colleen Kennedy. Tracy Cook is
All right, thank you. Well done. And we have a quorum. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, yeah, see, I got that out of order already, so, but we've got a roll call and we got the pledge done. But now the board is going to move into an executive session for potential litigation per RCW 42-30-110. This will be for approximately 15 minutes. So I've got 11:03. So we'll plan to return at 11:18. So we're going into an executive session. Hey, we're back out of executive session per RCW 42-30-110. No action was taken, and we are back to open session. And next on our agenda is public comment. So received any written public comment that you're aware of? All right. Any members of the public wish to address the Skagit Transit Board? Here. Okay, don't see anybody online. Thank you for spinning through that. Okay, we'll move on to item 6, which is our consent agenda. Items.
Chair Miller, I think you.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you missed Joe. Joe
Oh,
Kunkler
okay. All right.
online.
Thank you for. Okay. All right. So I do have a hand raised. All right, we're backing up to item 5. A lot of folks attending online. Can't see them all.
It's okay.
Joe, please go ahead.
I'll be very brief. I want to thank, I apologize for my background not being Skagit Transit. I was just coming out of another meeting. I'm going to ask that this, I want to first thank Skagit Transit for the intensive, brave, and fierce defense of the Climate Commitment Act. I think the next step we need to take is a resolution in defense of the Climate Commitment Act and stress to voters exactly what's on the table here, because if the Climate Commitment Act fails, there's going to have to be some very difficult conversations. And there's a lot of people that are being fed the lie that if you vote less, you're going to pay less. Well, no, you're going to vote yes, and you're going to get less. And with paratransit, 55.5% of the paratransit grant at risk, a state paratransit grant at risk, at other grants or like the Kids Ride Free at risk. I think the public is going to have to really be informed as to by mid-October of what's at risk here. I know that cities around the state are passing resolutions explaining what that's going to be. I call on Skagit Transit to do the same, please. So thank you for your public service, and thank you for the signs on the buses. It is much appreciated.
Okay, thank you. All right. Anybody else I might have missed online? Hands raised. Waiting for it to scroll to the top. Okay, thank you. And we are now to item 6, consent agenda A through E. The board, any questions? Motions?
I'll second.
Motion by Mayor Johnson, second by Mayor Aslett to approve the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. On to item 7. This is our full discussion action items. And 7A, approve interlocal agreement between Skagit Transit and Community Transit. Crystal.
Thank you. Community Transit approached Skagit Transit seeking approval to provide a pilot microtransit service to the portion of the Soxawato Reservation that lies within the Skagit Transit PBTA. I won't go over the entire agreement. It's included in your packet for your reading pleasure during your downtime, because I know you guys have a lot of that. What's most important to note is that, so I developed this agreement in collaboration with our attorney, but it was an agreement that I got really from WTA. They've got a similar agreement with the Lumi tribe up there. So we did do this in collaboration with our attorney, and there is language in there that allows us to terminate this for any reason. So for example, if we choose to offer service in that area, then we can terminate the contract and take over the portion of our PBT that they're currently, or that you guys will hopefully allow them to operate in. It should be noted that even with the long-range transit plan, there's no plans in the near future, even doing a 10 to 15-year outlook to provide service for us to provide service that far east in the county. So we thought this was a great opportunity to allow them, since they're doing it, they're operating the service in their PBTA, just to come a couple of miles into ours and to be able to offer the service as well. So asking that the board please approve this interlocal agreement between Community Transit and Skagit Transit to allow them to operate service a couple of miles into our PBTA on their reservation.
All right, questions? Yep, please. Yeah.
So the Soxawato Reservation is in eastern Skagit County, past Concrete. It's even past that. It's even past that. So
south, you go to Rockport and you go south and it goes quite a ways down there.
that's a good question. I had to look it up on a map and I'm like, yeah, we're nowhere. So I'll show you.
Any other questions? All right. Motion perhaps?
I'll make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement between Skagit Transit and Community Transit.
Second.
Yeah, motion by Councilmember Stavig and a second by Commissioner Browning to approve the interlocal as presented. Additional discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Now we're on to 7B, approve Delarock contract extension. Crystal.
Delarock provides Skagit Transit with mobile fare ticketing services. Our contract with them began August 1st, 2019 and ended June 30th, 2020 with the option for 2 one-year extensions, which we did exercise. So this is another contract that our previous procurement and procurements coordinator started on back when she was here. She went on leave. The temp started it and was not able to finish it before he left. So that's why we're asking for it to be retroactively approved to July 1st, 2024. We've already gone out to bid for it. So if we do secure another contract, we're expecting Delarock to be the service provider that we use, because their service is pretty unique to what we do. If we do get a contract through somebody else, then the extension will terminate. So just asking for the board to estimated budget impact, 114,000 for 6 months, but that's already included in our 2024 budget. So no additional budget impact at this time. Staff recommending the board approve the extension to contract 19-006 for Delarock.
I figure there'll be some questions on this one.
So this is out for bid right now, right?
On our website, yes.
And so, I mean, I don't see the copy of the contract here, but
We don't typically put the actual contracts in there, but I'm more than happy to provide it to you if you need it.
if we approve this, I mean, I would imagine that they're probably gonna be the same ones, just like you said. I don't know.
That's what I'm
kind-
expecting.
Yeah. But in the contract that we're extending here to December 31st, it does say if there was somebody else, we could cancel this contract here that we're signing off on.
Correct.
It's written in
We
there.
can terminate the contract early, the extension early, rather.
Thank you.
To approve. Second.
A motion by Commissioner Browning, a second by Mayor Aslett to approve the contract extension. Additional discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, motion carries. On to 7C, approve additional time to complete financial policies. Crystal.
At the September 2023 board meeting, staff was directed to create a committee whose primary role was updating the financial policies of the organization. Some of these policies had not been updated since the early 2000s. Staff was given until September 30th of 2024 to complete all of the policies, the updating of all the policies. Due to scheduling conflicts and urgent projects, only 24 of the 75 projects have been completed so far. Staff is asking for the board to award additional time to complete this directive and allow time to review rather by the governance committee. We will keep the board up to date on progress made on the project and will commit ourselves to prioritizing the policy revisions. And just to elaborate on that further, staff is committed to doing 2 policies per week. We figure there's 16 or 17 weeks left in the year, and that will knock out a big chunk of the remaining policies. So staff is recommending that you approve additional time to complete the financial policies, and you'll notice that I intentionally didn't put a deadline on there.
Yeah, I know staff wanted to fall on the sword on this one, but I want to thank also the governance group that Mayor Aslett and Commissioner Browning is on, because we have some responsibility in that time frame and getting us all together to review those. It's a little bit on us too, but we're just for the board, we're working on it. So sorry. Bill.
I'd like to just add, I do feel this is incredibly important work that's being done to get these policies updated, and I think we need to make sure we take the time to do it right.
It's been a lot more tedious than I thought. If you were really doing an excellent job, or you're doing an excellent job, your group, and so I feel real good about it. But yeah, I didn't expect it to be quite this time consuming, as none of us did. So it makes all the sense in the world.
I don't think we did either. Thank you for those comments, and I want to give credit to where's credit is due to Chris Arkle. He also has been right in there with me getting these done, as well as my executive team. They've been part of that too, but it's been he and I really that's been in the trenches doing this. But your guys' feedback has been invaluable, and we just appreciate your guys' help with this.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Noticed there was a timeline last time, and you mentioned there wasn't one this time. Is there a time we check in at year end just to check in on progress? Is that the plan?
So I can provide monthly updates. Again, Mayor Miller, Mayor Aslett, and Commissioner Browning are on the committee, so they know what the progress, like how slow and tedious it's been, like they've said. But yeah, I'm happy to provide monthly updates.
Quarterly.
Or well, I'm hoping to be done first quarter. So I just didn't want to tie our hands because it has been much more. And again, some of it's been just difficulty getting our calendars to sync up so that we even could meet.
All right, anything else?
I'll make a motion to approve the additional time needed to complete these financial policies.
I'll second.
A motion by Council Member Stavic, a second by Mayor Donovan to approve the additional time to complete financial policies. Additional discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Sorry, motion carries. Got to get the delay for online. All right, next up, 7D, approve resolution 2024-11, appointing clerk of the board.
I guess in hindsight, this probably should have been 7A, but it's okay.
That was my confusion at the beginning. Okay, who's got here, but it's all good. We're fine.
Well, they're tag team and they're helping each other too.
Yes, I like it.
So as you guys know, Laura left us, I guess it's been a couple of months ago. She has been working remotely to help us with a lot of different things, most importantly, the board reports and such. So resolution 2411 is just to appoint a new clerk of the board, Larissa Farrell. I'm not going to read through all of her duties again. You guys know the responsibilities and duties for the clerk of the board. I'm just going to recommend that the board approve resolution 2024-11, appointing the new executive assistant, Laura Farrell, as clerk to the board of Skagit Transit.
All right. Well, welcome Larissa, and I think you got to meet most of the board members just today in person. So any questions, comments?
Second.
Okay, motion by Mayor Johnson, a second by Commissioner Browning to approve resolution 2024-11. Additional discussion. You're getting the opportunity to tell a couple of things about yourself.
Well, first, thank you everyone for your time today. It's just been such a joy to be here and to meet each one of you in person. As Crystal mentioned, my name is Larissa Farrell. I'm fairly new to Anacortes, been here about 1.5 years. I just absolutely fell in love with this location and the great people here. My previous roles include executive administrative work as well as various administrative roles. And so feel well equipped to be here and just excited to be with the Skagit Transit team.
All right. Thank you. All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you. Next up is item 8, information item, CEO update. Crystal.
Phase 1 of MOA 2 is substantially completed August 22nd of 2024. The contractor has 45 days to complete punch list items. Representative Larson's office, as you guys recall, I've been trying to schedule something with Representative Larson's office for a while now to try to celebrate the completion of phase 1. He's obviously very busy. This is an election year, but I heard from his staff assistant last night and we're trying to schedule something for October. So I will connect him, Sean O'Connell, with Larissa to try to schedule a date that's, if the board is interested in coming, a date that you guys are most available. We're probably never going to get all of you guys. This is probably the only time your board meetings where we were able to get all of you guys together, but we'll try to work with the board to try to get all of you guys together so that we can do some little celebration for the completion of phase 1. And again, continuing to look for funding, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. We're still working with the contract to finalize the last payment applications. At this point, it looks like we'll be receiving a credit. I'm not going to commit to a dollar amount yet, but we're hoping for a pretty substantial credit. And once we receive the final payment application, we will also begin working with the Department of Revenue to get reimbursed for the overage in sales tax that we paid on this project. And I'm just going to keep going unless anyone has any questions about MOA 2. Okay, so talk about recruitments. We just mentioned that my new EA started September 16th. Very happy to have her on board. As she explained to you, she's got a lot of experience and she is well equipped to be here in this role. Laura's very happy that we finally hired someone because she's ready to move on to her new life in Florida. Our customer service rep starts October 1st. The finance analyst job that the board approved last month was posted. We conducted 1 round of interviews and did not select a candidate. So we are currently reviewing new resumes and we'll be scheduling second round of interviews soon. And then we have another bus driver class starting October 16th, and we're going to have 4 to 5 drivers in that. And I'll just keep moving unless someone has a question.
I was just going to once again thank Laura for coming back to help out the team for a little while.
Yes, thank
Longer
you,
than
Laura.
expected. Thanks, Laura.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about some of our KPIs, key performance indicators. So our long-term absences are down to 8 from 12. I give our HR team a lot of credit for that. Jen, Abby, and Kelly, they've been really managing these absences and getting people back to work. For the month of August, we canceled 40 hours and 41 minutes, which is down from 93 hours and 57 minutes for July. So we're step in the right direction. Our overtime is down from $65,960 in July to just over almost 58,000 in August. So we're still, as I presented at the last board meeting, we're still trending to be about $160,000 on bus driver over what we budgeted on bus driver overtime, but at least hopefully we're trending in the right direction. Our triennial, so we have not received the final report for our triennial audit, but we believe that we cured 6 of the 8 preliminary findings. And I'm hoping to have the final report for the board next meeting. They were supposed to be a 2-week turnaround after we provided the final documents, and I feel like it's been about a month, so I'm hoping to get that back from them anytime. We already talked about the governance committee. So ridership report, a full ridership report has been provided in the packet for June, but I wanted to highlight a few things. The fixed route ridership is still down about 29.32%, and paratransit is down about 17.02% year over year for the month of August pre-pandemic. And I also want to highlight that we provided 6,048 rides to youth last month. And as one of our guests just mentioned, youth ride free with the Climate Commitment Act. So we provided over 6,000 free rides to youth because of the Climate Commitment Act. A full financial report is included in the packet, but I wanted to provide just a few highlights. Sales tax revenues are down about 5.6% from June of 2023 to 2024. And I watched the county meetings and most, if not all of the city council meetings. And I know that most of you guys are trending downward also. So we're kind of trending the same way that along the same lines that you guys are. The transit development plan that the board approved last month was submitted to the state on time. So thank you to Stevie for her hard work getting that done. Continuity of operations plan. So the executive team has been working on putting this COOP together for over a year. It's been just a lot of, again, kind of like the financial policies, very hard, tedious work, continuity of operations. Sorry, I should have said that. So off of that COOP, we'll spin an ERP, an emergency response plan. But that should go out to the board today, I believe, for review. And then we're hoping that the board will approve that next month. I want to thank staff for all of their hard work and dedication. It was a lot of work getting this COOP in place. Community events. So some of the things that we're going to be, since I didn't do a CEO update last month, some of the events that we will be participating in for the month of September is the emergency training with Anacortes, which is tomorrow, disaster preparedness event at Concrete, WWU Student Info Fair in Bellingham. Sorry, the Concrete one is September 21st. The WWU is 23rd and 24th of this month. B-Town Fall Festival in Burlington, September 28th. The Week Without Driving. So the Week Without Driving Challenge inspired by the Disability Mobility Initiative encourages those who typically drive to experience the barriers faced by non-drivers. Skagit Transit is proud to partner with our Community Advisory Committee to host ride-along opportunities where members of the public are invited to leave their car behind, whether for a single trip or for an entire week, and engage with those who ride on transit daily. This national program runs from September 30th to October 6th. And for more details, you can talk to me, Stevie, or there is further information on our website. We are beginning our stakeholder meeting for phase 2 on October 4th. So October will be the kickoff for public engagement for our long range transit plan. The first one is at Skagit Station, October 4th. Farmers Market, Mount Vernon Riverwalk Park, October 5th. Farmers Market, Anacortes Depot, Arts Plaza, October 12th. Phase 2 long range virtual open house, October 15th. Veterans Stand Down, October 18th. Phase 2 long range transit plan community outreach in Concrete, October 22nd, and the Fall Spooktacular Market, Mount Vernon Fairgrounds, October 26th. So our marketing and public outreach and marketing folks have been staying very busy. That's all I have for us at 8A.
Lot of,
Lot of-
lot of stuff in there. Any questions?
Yes, I got a
Yep.
quick question here. On the youth riders, you said a youth ride for free on the buses, right?
Yes, part of the requirements of the Climate Commitment Act require us to provide free fare for youth through 18. So we provided just over 6,000 free rides under that program. And we do get funding for it, as we've talked about before. But that's one of the requirements, is to provide free fares for youth.
So how do they get a card or something at school, or how does a youth ride for free?
So
They just-
Tracy could probably take this better than I, but the Del Rock contract that you guys just approved is for our UMAR, our mobile ticketing. And we encourage all of our youth to have those UMO cards so that we can track it. We do not ask or encourage drivers to deny rides if someone doesn't have those cards, but that's how we track it. Tracy, can you provide some more?
They're required to have the cards, but it's not something that we have enforced, so we just, when they tell us that they're youth, they get the ride.
Oh, okay.
But they have to identify themselves as a youth.
Can
So we
you,
can-
you give them a card, or do they have to get it at
We
the bus
cannot,
stop?
they have to get it at the Skagit
That-
station.
You do, oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. that's-
I was actually looking at the ridership by route, and you've got the routes listed by numbers. And I'm wondering if there's an opportunity at some point to provide what these rides are, where they're going, because I think it would make more sense, like, for example, route number 409, it looks like there's hardly any ridership on it, but I'm sure it's a very small route, probably maybe even on an island, I don't know. So I'm just wondering,
That's Mayor Miller's route.
I'm sorry.
It's in Anacortes, so
Okay.
Florida. But I think I've asked that question.
Yeah.
Well, I actually have an update on that today, so.
But is there a possibility of kind of identifying what these routes are so that we have a better idea of where the ridership is happening?
So you want where the routes go?
No, just, well, like 101, is that in Cedar Woolley or is that someplace else? Yeah, that kind of thing.
I think asking is actually, how can you put that in a small little line on the chart?
Okay, so we can work on that. How about if we just give, because again, it would be probably a lot of information to give the actual route. We can do one of two things. We can put the starting point and the destination.
That'd be great.
Okay, that's great. We could do that.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Those numbers don't, no offense, don't mean anything to most of the board members who
Yeah.
look at those, except I know that.
Understood. Okay, yeah, that's a great feedback. We can definitely do that.
Thank you.
All right, any, yeah.
You mentioned riders young ride free. Do we have any idea of how much revenue?
That's a great question too.
Well, so youth fare, before they went fare free, they were $1. So $1, right? For discount for youth, $1. Prior to discounted fares $1.
Yes.
So it was, I mean, at $6,049, but again, and I was at the ferry meeting yesterday. Our goals are much lower. The FT requirements actually are much lower. Ours is 20%. Most transit agencies don't meet that, but they allow us to match funds with, to match the fare box recovery with the other funds. I know that the ferry is asking for 65%, but our fare recovery is only about 2% anyways, and we're getting far more from the Climate Commitment Act than we would ever get from youth fares.
Questions, any others?
It's not a direct reimbursement, it's just a requirement to receive those funds. We do have to provide that data to the state, though.
Did I miss anything, or are we to the CAC report?
So 8B, what?
Well, grant, I know you went to the ridership. Was there anything you wanted to talk about? Grants, application, match commitments?
Yeah, so there's this should all, okay. So this basically, actually, this was in last month's packet, but we're providing an update because we've made some changes since then. Green Capital Transportation Grant application was due last week. I believe it was September 12th, and the Consolidated Grant Program application was due yesterday. So we got both of those submitted successfully. So and the other thing that was not on here last month that I asked the grants manager to include in this document was, in addition to the total project cost, the funding request, and how much our match would be, I also thought it was really important to point out what percentage of these funds were CCA funded. So as you can see over to the far left-hand corner, the green transportation grant is 23.3% funded by the CCA. So even if we do get awarded this grant, we likely will lose that 23.3% if CCA does not, if it gets repealed in November. So we are asking for almost 9.7 from green transportation to help fund phase 3. And I know that sounds a little backwards because we don't even have phase 2 funded yet. And the reason that we're doing that is because we do have $5 million in federal bus and bus facilities grants for phase 3. So if we are awarded this grant, then we could be fully funded for phase 3 and do like all of the site prep work and building B and get phase 3 done while we're out trying to secure funding for phase 2. And phase 2 is primarily just the interior of the admin building anyway. So it doesn't really matter if we do phase 3 or phase 2 first. Ideally, I would have liked to have done it both at the same time, but we've not been able to secure the funding. So we are going to try to do phase 3 first. In terms of the consolidated grant, again, we submitted that application yesterday, and we have to rank our ask. So we ranked a grant extension. So the original grant for the 615-717 was for 2 years. We're asking for 4 years because it's an extension that's a 10% match. So that would be $389,000 for the 615 and $280,000 for the 717. And as a reminder, the 717 is concrete. The 615 starts at March's Point. Tracy goes up to La Conner and then goes down to, thank you. Community Engagement Coordinator. That's a grant that we currently have 2-year grant. We're asking for a 4-year extension on that. Again, 10% match for $36,000. We are also asking for 5 replacement paratransit vehicles, 2 electric vehicles, and 3 propane, 5% match. That would be almost $75,000. And this is the one that I'm most excited to talk about. So as was pointed out by Mayor Johnson, and as Mayor Miller we've talked about this a number of times, the 409 in Anacortes is one of our poorest performing routes. So and this is based on the decision to do this is based on the community outreach from the long range transit plan. We are proposing to do microtransit in Anacortes. We're looking at, so the grant request is for $815,000 with a 5% match of $40,000. That will cover the entire Fidalgo Island with 3 microtransit buses. We're hoping that we can pilot it in Anacortes, and if it's successful, potentially scale it to other areas of the community that are either underperforming, the routes are underperforming, or underserved communities. So we're hoping that we get this grant. We're really excited about potentially providing microtransit in Anacortes. A lot of feedback. Everybody wants to go to the pool, especially Mayor Miller. They all want to go to the pool. But you met with a community member a couple of weeks ago, I think. Shauna, she was here at the last board meeting. There's a group of a large population of disabled folks up in Anacortes, as well as seniors that will greatly benefit from this. So we're hoping that we can get awarded this grant and that it's successful. And then the last thing we're asking in the consolidated grant, ask number, I guess that's 6, is for en-route EV charging at Skagit Station and Chuckanut. And again, that's a 5% match rather at $122,500. And the match will come from a combination of sales tax revenues and/or local funds and/or reserves if we have to, especially for the capital pieces.
Okay. Questions, comments?
This micro transit, how many buses did you say? Are these mini buses? Are they, I mean, I always forget what micro transit is. Is it trying to get someone to a bus station? Is that what it is?
I mean, an agency can model it however it wants. Like when I was at Sacramento Regional Transit, we used it as feeder service to get people that lived outside of the 3/4 of a mile area to our fixed rail service or light rail. We had light rail there. For this particular project, we're looking at just providing service to the entire island. And yeah, we're not sure how that's going to impact the 409 right now, but again, that's one of our lowest ridership routes. So did I answer your question?
Well, how many, you
We're looking
said
at- oh,
something
dear.
about buses. You said like the micro transit buses. How many are you talking about?
So again, an agency can provide whatever vehicles they want. At Island, I think they just use regular vans. Every vehicle that we provide would be ADA accessible. And we're looking probably at cutaways potentially. We haven't actually figured that out yet, but we're looking at 3, and the service hours would be what we operate right now, to include Mayor Miller's Sunday, because this plan does include Sunday service because we don't have Sunday service in Anacortes right now. And there's been some of the feedback that we've gotten is from all community members, stakeholders that have responded is that they want later service, but specifically for the Anacortians, they want Sunday service.
And this micro transit would stay within Anacortes, or wouldn't be rolling?
That would be the zone in
In
the-
Anacortes?
yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
I just have a comment. I just want to thank you, Crystal, and your team for being willing to think outside the box, to go about finding ways where we can provide ridership that is both cost effective and more convenient for those who live within certain communities. So thank you for doing that.
All right, already discussed the ridership report, which is 8C, CAC report. Judy, are we?
Judy's actually not here today. And I don't think that they sent anybody in her place.
There's a report in the packet, so you can read that.
Want me to read it?
I think you got, so discussion about the Climate Commitment Act, ridership report was given with a list of upcoming events. I think you covered that. And then the National Week Without Driving Challenge, 30 December to October 4th. And the next month's meeting will be October 1st. The CAC will offer nomination process. There we go. It's in the packet. All right, I don't have anything on the agenda, so I will adjourn the board meeting. Thank you very much.